Hi everybody, welcome back to Tip Top Travel. Today you join me in another random one-off video of random travels, this time across the UK. Today I'm going to a little island off the coast of Wales called Flatholm. Now, Flatholm is placed approximately 6 kilometres off the coast of Cardiff. It comes under Cardiff Council's jurisdiction, so you can get a boat out there from Cardiff Bay, and it costs approximately, I think I paid about £40 to get there and back. It's a really fascinating little island because it is tiny, but it's got lots and lots of history. It's got Wales's most southern pub. It's got one pub on the island, and it was also used as a real strategic vantage point by people from the Napoleonic era. They think Romans were on there as well. St. Caddock was on there. It was also used in the Bronze Age, and also, of course, during World War II as well. So it's a really, really fascinating island, and I'd really recommend going to visit this if you have the opportunity, because it's one of those things where I don't really think many people know you can actually get there. So it's definitely worth going on a visit. You learn some really interesting things about Welsh history, and it's just quite cool being in a random teeny island off the coast of Wales, in between Wales and England. On a clear day you can see both incredibly clearly. So as you can see, I got on the boat out to Flatholm from Cardiff Bay. The boat journey took approximately 45 minutes, and despite being a well-seasoned traveller, I unfortunately suffered terribly with seasickness, so I didn't manage to get much of the journey out there or on the way back, as you'll see. But join me on the island shortly. So as you can see, despite it being quite windy and quite choppy on the waters, we were really blessed to have lots of sun on this journey. And I visited on a early August day, and I'd really recommend you visiting in the summer as well, because I was chatting to a couple of the other people on the boat who have been there before, and they were telling me some quite horrendous sounding stories of going there when it's 1-2 degrees, in early April, and just not having the best time and being constantly cold. So I'd recommend visiting in the summer, but of course it is really fascinating whenever you can go out and visit. I believe there's only select times you can go out and visit. You can't go in the winter because the weather is too bad. But of course, I'll put a link to where I bought my tickets to go to Flatholm in the description of this video. But anyway, as you can see, walking around the island, it is a really fascinating area. There's lots of long grass which is blown by the wind. The island is habited by thousands upon thousands of seagulls. Also, it's got a lovely little sheep/ram colony, which is brilliant. There's also a couple of permanent residents who stay on the island, especially over winter, to make sure it's in good shape. But there's lots of people that can go out and stay there, both for university purposes. Lots of the sort of adventure centres that you can do there were run by students, and the tours were given mostly by students at the local university. So Flatholm is indeed incredibly small. It's got an area of just 0.35 kilometres squared, with a length of 0.63 kilometres and a width of 0.61. So it's of course teeny, but teeming with history. The history can be spotted all over the island. From Marconi's first transmission, he was stationed in Lavenock Point. He had a assistant, a Welshman who was based on Flatholm and sent the first ever transmission. Really interesting history. Of course, Marconi turned out to be a fascist, so you don't remember the man, but you remember the history. And it's a really fascinating bit of history and a real world changing development which happened right on Flatholm. Also, there's remnants of historic gun batteries that were used during the Napoleonic Wars as well as during World War II as well. And there's, of course, remnants of a cholera isolation hospital, which was used obviously to isolate victims of cholera who were coming over as a result of trading at the end of the 19th century. So the island is full and teeming of history. It's got a wonderful lighthouse on it as well, which was erected to, of course, stop shipwrecks and continues to do so to this very day. So I'd really recommend visiting the island. You can find so much more out about the island's history, its geology, its environmentalism. It's almost entirely run on volunteers. So it's really important, I think, to go and visit for yourself and pay a bit of money towards the island's upkeep because it is really fantastic. Also, when I went, it was cash only. It might be changing. They said they might get a card reader soon, but it was cash only. So be sure to take cash when you do go and visit. So as I come to the end of the tour, I'd like to say again, thank you so much for joining me in this video. You'll see now me getting on the boat back. And again, as I say, I didn't film much of the journey back because I get terrible seasickness. And it was quite a, let's say, bumpy ride back. But it was fun, and obviously everybody was safe and had a great time. I just spent most of the time with my head over the side. But, nonetheless, a great experience. As I say before, I'll put the link to where I bought my ticket in the description of this video. Of course, not promoted, I just want to share that information with you to inspire you to go as well. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Look forward to sharing more content with you in the future. And until then, have a lovely rest of your day.